See, the problem is all those values are submerged under the constant propaganda of newspaper, television, radio, brainwash. Brainwash. Do you think that people would be voting the way they vote usually for the stuff to support if they could understand how it's interfering with their own best interests? You know what I mean? That's the problem. And that's why you always have to constantly try to organize against it, because we are dominated by some madness that people think is normal. They think it is. I mean, it's craziness. So when you talk about, say, something like racism, that's endemic. That's in this. It's not something that somebody's coming with. It's in this. You know what I'm saying? It's part of this. You know, the fabric of this. You know. So the question of coming together is the question of how do you organize in the smallest level? How do you organize in the next level? And how do you organize nationally? You know, they say you got freedom of the press. Yeah, you own a newspaper. You know what I mean? You got the right to publish what you want on a mini rep machine. You can, you can put something on the internet until they stop that. You know, you can put some on, which they will eventually. But I'm saying the whole conquest of, the whole definition of freedom is a lie. There is no freedom in this, you know. And what is being pumped at us all the time is individuality, individualism, as the great savior of people, but actually it's a collective pain, you know, and it has to be fought collectively, and it will exist until we get organized sufficiently to fight it collectively. You see, the stuff on the black side, for instance, all that stuff there, the 60s, Dr. King, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they both got killed at 39 years old. They were young people. They were young men. You know, but all those people marching and struggling and screaming and hollering. So somebody says, oh, this guy, Obama, has become the president because he's a smart Negro. No, he's the president because people was burning down houses, picketing, screaming. You understand? It's going to take that much on another level to move this society forward. Not just the black folks, but all of the folks, you see. Just the black people have gotten their asses kicked long enough where they scream the loudest. But finally, people have got to learn. You know, you got to understand what's going on in here. You know?
I mean, when we talk about freedom for sale as the title of the presentation, my immediate thoughts went to the fact that, you know, as whether we're artists or not, you know, that this idea of freedom of speech, you know, that is taught to us as a cardinal principle of our constitutional rights is anything but. You know, when I think about freedom of speech, I think about the cost of speech. I think about the fact that, you know, Malcolm is dead. For what? For his speech. Dr. King is dead. For what? For his speech, right? Assad is in Cuba. For the speech. You have white men marching with AK-47s in this country. My rights, my rights. When the Panthers were doing it, them folks is locked up today. They locked up and still locked up today. Assad is in Cuba, right? So Mumia, Philadelphia, he just got off death row, but he's still in prison. You see what I'm saying? For what? His speech. You see? Baraka wrote a poem. Was the poet laureate of the state of Jersey for his speech. You see what I'm saying? And so when we talk about these items, that's our obligation as citizens, if we claim this place. Our obligation first is to question what they tell us is supposed to be our rights. Say, wait a second, if it's our rights, how come we don't get to experience it? How come we don't have the right to experience it? You know what I'm saying? That as artists, we have to. We are constantly conscious of the cost associated with what we say in our work. And those that say, all right, you know, yeah, I might take a hit for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Then you've placed yourself in a tradition at that point. And we know the outcome often is not good, either for ourselves or our families. You know, but the hope is that by saying it, you know, it has the potential to spark the consciousness of the collective. Because no doubt about it, unless the collective acts as a collective, we're going to be in this little wormhole for a moment.